Have you ever felt a pang of disappointment when you harvest your garlic? You put in the work, you prepared the soil, you waited patiently through the long winter and watched the green shoots emerge in spring. Then, come summer, you lift your bulbs from the earth, only to find them small and underwhelming. They look more like the cloves you planted than the fat, juicy bulbs you dreamed of. This is a common story for so many gardeners. It can feel disheartening, as if you have missed some vital secret that others seem to know. You are not alone in this feeling, I assure you. Many of us have been there. The truth is, many of us start our garlic on the back foot. We simply take a bulb, separate the cloves, and pop them into the ground. We hope for the best. Sometimes this works well enough, but to get truly magnificent large bulbs, we need to do a bit more. Experienced growers understand that the journey to a great harvest begins long before the clove ever touches the soil. They give their garlic a head start. They prepare it for the challenges ahead. It is not about a secret fertilizer or a magic trick. It is about understanding what a tiny garlic clove needs to become a giant. The difference between a small bulb and a large one often comes down to the first few weeks in the ground. A clove planted without preparation has a lot to do. It must wake up from its dormancy. It must fight off any unseen fungal, spores, or bacteria in the soil. It must find the nutrients it needs to send down roots. This takes a great deal of energy. By giving the cloves a special treatment before planting, we can handle all of these tasks for them. We are essentially giving them the perfect start, allowing them to focus all their energy purely on growing strong and vigorous from day one. This is what we will explore. It is a simple, three-step soaking process. It is something anyone can do with a few household items and some garden supplies. This method prepares your garlic for success. It helps it to establish roots quickly before the winter freeze. It protects it from common diseases that can weaken the plant, and it provides an initial boost of essential minerals. Think of it as sending a child to school with a good breakfast and a warm coat. You are setting them up for a successful day. We are doing the same for our garlic, setting it up for a successful season. To understand why this soaking method works so brilliantly, we must first understand the garlic itself. What does a single clove need to fulfill its potential? It is not as complicated as you might think. Garlic has 3 fundamental requirements for the best possible start in life. The first is the ability to establish its roots early and quickly. In the autumn, the soil is still warm. A garlic clove that can send down roots before the deep cold of winter arrives will have a tremendous advantage. These roots act as an anchor, but more importantly, they are the plant's lifeline for water and nutrients come spring. The second requirement is robust health and disease resistance. The soil is a living place, full of life. It contains countless microorganisms, some helpful, some not. Fungi and bacteria are always present, waiting for an opportunity. A garlic clove is essentially a food store, and it can be vulnerable to rot and disease, especially in damp, cool soil. A plant that has to fight off an infection from the very beginning will be weak. It will divert its precious energy to survival, not to growth. Protecting the clove from these pathogens is absolutely crucial for ensuring it grows into a strong, healthy plant. The third vital need is access to a rich supply of minerals. Garlic is what we call a heavy feeder. It is hungry for nutrients. It needs a wide range of minerals to build its cells, to photosynthesize, and ultimately to form a large, plump bulb. While good soil is the long-term answer, providing a direct initial dose of minerals gives the clove an immediate boost. It is like a packed lunch for its first few weeks underground. This initial nutrition fuels the early root growth and helps the plant build momentum. A clove that starts with a good mineral supply will be more vigorous and resilient. When we plant a dry, unprepared clove, we are asking it to manage all 3 of these things on its own. It has to break its dormancy, defend itself, and seek out food, all at the same time. It is a tall order. The 3-part soak we will discuss addresses each of these needs directly. It wakes the clove up, disinfects it, and feeds it. By taking care of these essential first steps, we free up the garlic's energy. All of that power can then be channeled into what we want most, growing deep roots and eventually a magnificent giant bulb. The very first step in our process is hydration. We need to gently wake the garlic clove from its dormant state. A dry clove is in a state of suspended animation, and it needs a signal that it is time to grow. We do this with a simple, gentle soak. You do not need anything fancy for this. All you need is some water and a bit of baking soda. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, helps to slightly alter the pH of the water, making it more alkaline. This environment encourages the clove to start absorbing moisture and kickstarts its internal processes. It is a gentle nudge to say, the season is changing, it is time to get ready. To begin, you will need a jar or a bowl. For about a liter of water, you only need to add 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Make sure you use lukewarm water, not cold and certainly not hot. A pleasant tepid temperature is perfect. Stir the mixture well until the baking soda has completely dissolved into the water. Now, you need to prepare your garlic. Take your bulbs and carefully separate them into individual cloves. It is important to leave the papery skins on each clove. These skins offer a layer of natural protection, so do not peel them off. Once your cloves are separated, place them into the baking soda solution. Make sure they are all fully submerged in the water. You may need to gently push them down as they can be quite buoyant. Now, you simply let them soak. The ideal time for this first step is about 30 minutes. This is long enough for the cloves to become fully hydrated and for the biological trigger to be pulled. You are reawakening the life within the clove. It is a quiet, simple, but profoundly important part of the process. This soak signals that the long, dry storage period is over. After about half an hour has passed, you will notice the cloves may look slightly plumper. They have absorbed the water and are now physiologically active. The process of growth has been initiated. Carefully pour out the baking soda water, leaving the cloves in the container. You do not need to rinse them. They are now perfectly prepared for the next stage of their treatment. This simple act of hydration has set the stage for everything that follows. The clove is awake, alert, and ready to face the next step on its journey to becoming a healthy, productive plant. Now that our garlic cloves are awake and hydrated, our next priority is to protect them. You know, the soil is just full of microscopic threats. Fungal diseases like white rot or blue mold can devastate a garlic crop, often starting from spores that are present on the clove itself or in the soil. So, to give our garlic the best possible chance, we must disinfect it. We need to create a clean slate, removing any potential pathogens before they have a chance to take hold. For this, we turn to another simple, yet powerful, household product, hydrogen peroxide. It's a fantastic disinfectant for this purpose. Hydrogen peroxide works by releasing an oxygen atom, which is highly reactive and oxidizes or burns up the cell walls of bacteria and fungal spores. It is incredibly effective at sterilizing surfaces, but it is also gentle enough on the clove itself. When it breaks down, it simply becomes water and oxygen, leaving no harmful residue in the soil or on the plant. This makes it an ideal choice for the organic gardener. We're cleaning the clove without introducing any harsh chemicals into our garden ecosystem. It is a safe, clean, and very effective method of disease prevention. The process is just as simple as the first step. After you have drained the baking soda solution, you will add the hydrogen peroxide solution to the same container with the cloves. For this step, you will want to use a standard 3% hydrogen peroxide solution, which is the kind commonly found in a brown bottle at the chemist or supermarket. You will mix this with water. A good ratio is 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 10 parts water. So, if you use 1 cup of peroxide, you will add 10 cups of lukewarm water. Pour this mixture over your cloves. Let the cloves soak in this sterilizing bath for about 15 to 20 minutes. This is all the time it needs to work its magic. Any longer is unnecessary and could potentially be too harsh. During this time, the solution will be busy killing off any unseen fungal spores or bacteria that might be clinging to the papery skins of the garlic. You are giving your crop an invisible shield of protection. You are ensuring that when it goes into the ground, it is as clean and healthy as it can be. This step dramatically reduces the risk of early season rot and failure, which is a common cause of small, weak bulbs. Our garlic is now awake and it is clean. The final step in this preparatory spa treatment is to feed it. We want to provide an immediate source of essential minerals and nutrients. This will fuel the initial burst of root growth that is so critical in the autumn. A well-fed clove will establish itself much more quickly and vigorously. For this, my preferred choice is a liquid seaweed fertilizer. It is a wonderful, natural product, full of a broad spectrum of micronutrients, trace elements and growth hormones that plants absolutely love. It is the perfect first meal for our garlic. Liquid seaweed is not a high-nitrogen fertilizer, it is more of a tonic, a mineral supplement. It contains things like potassium, which is vital for disease resistance and general plant vigor, as well as magnesium, iron, and manganese. These are all essential for healthy growth. It also contains natural growth stimulants that encourage roots to develop quickly and strongly. By soaking the cloves in this solution, we are allowing them to absorb these vital nutrients directly. The clove becomes a tiny, self-contained nutrient pack, ready to fuel its own growth as soon as it is planted. For this third and final soak, you will first drain away the hydrogen peroxide solution. Again, there is no need to rinse the cloves. Now, prepare your liquid seaweed solution according to the instructions on the bottle. Usually, this involves mixing a small amount, perhaps a capful or two, into a liter of lukewarm water. You want a solution that is strong enough to provide nutrients, but not so strong that it could harm the cloves. Follow the manufacturer's recommendation for a general-purpose soak. Pour this nutrient-rich tea over your garlic cloves in their container. The cloves should bathe in this mineral feast for at least a few hours. Some gardeners even leave them overnight. A soak of anywhere from 2 to 8 hours is ideal. This gives the cloves ample time to absorb all the goodness from the seaweed solution. They will soak up the minerals and growth stimulants, supercharging them for planting. When you take them out of this final soak, they will be fully hydrated, disinfected, and loaded with the nutrients they need for a powerful start. They are now at their absolute peak readiness for planting in the autumn soil. With your garlic cloves now fully prepared, the final crucial element is timing. This entire soaking process is designed to give your garlic a head start, and the best time to leverage that advantage is in the autumn. Planting garlic in the autumn, typically from late September to November depending on your climate, is the key to growing truly large bulbs. This is because garlic requires a period of cold weather, known as vernalization, to trigger it to divide and form a full bulb with many cloves. Planting in autumn ensures it gets this necessary chill over the winter. The soaking process we have just completed makes autumn planting even more effective. A prepared clove, when planted in the still warm autumn soil, will immediately get to work. It will not waste any energy waking up or fighting off disease. Instead, it will pour all its resources into growing roots. It will establish a deep and extensive root system before the ground freezes solid. This is the secret. A plant with a strong root system going into winter is like a house with a solid foundation. It is stable, secure, and ready for rapid growth when the warmth of spring returns. When spring arrives, your pre-soaked autumn-planted garlic will explode with growth. While unprepared cloves are just starting to send down their first tentative roots, yours will already have a well-established network ready to draw up water and nutrients. This means your plants will be larger, greener, and more vigorous all through the growing season. A larger, healthier plant has more leaf area for photosynthesis, meaning it can create more energy. All of that extra energy is then channeled down into the bulb, making it swell to a much greater size. I wholeheartedly encourage you to try this method. It may seem like a bit of extra effort, but the rewards are more than worth it. It transforms the simple act of planting a clove into a thoughtful process of preparation. You are working with the plant's natural cycles to give it exactly what it needs, when it needs it. Say goodbye to the disappointment of small, underdeveloped bulbs. By adopting this 3-step soak before your autumn planting, you are setting the stage for your best garlic harvest ever. You will be amazed at the difference it makes. Happy gardening!